Bismillah. Let's proceed, inshallah.
Anyone that's still not clear on the suspicion and how we need to navigate with it. So I take it that everybody's clear, everybody's okay, so we can move on, inshallah, to the next subject matter. So when it comes to Islamic character, we spoke about why a Muslim should have good character. What is it that one sees when somebody speaks about a righteous person? We know what is the characteristics of the righteous person as well, and not being fooled by ourselves or fooling ourselves by thinking we're doing certain acts of ibadah, and that makes us automatically righteous. You know, we are on another level that we are not supposed to be on, and things like that. That's all fallacies. So what we do is we go according to what is being set forth for us as a guidance, and we take onto that guidance because that's how we get to the end goal, inshallah. This is, we are not here to please ourselves, we are here to please Allah. As we spoke about in the beginning, we as Muslims, we are governed by Islam, meaning that we submit to the will of Allah and not our own free will. You understand? So as we keep going along, inshallah, the pieces will fit in together and we will understand it holistically from A to Z. Qudratillah. So the next subject matter also still on character. Why is character so important in Islam? Anybody? Why is character so important in Islam? Why is character so important? Anyone?
I heard that it'll be the either the heaviest or the first thing weighed on our scales.
Yeah. Character is important, again, whenever there's a warning against something. The warning is not for other people. The warning is a personal warning for oneself. You understand? The warning is important to an individual, us. We don't go further, as we spoke about it. Whenever we read something in the Quran, whenever something comes towards us, we reflect within ourselves and we search within ourselves, and then we govern from there on, because that's for us. It's not for other people. You know, I know this person like that. You know, that's another person like that. That's a person like that. No. You reflect within yourself first, because when you have self-reflected, then you can rectify or straighten what is skew within yourself. And all of us come with those things. This is why the warnings that come in the Deen of Islam, it is for everybody, because every single human being walking the face of the planet has these qualities within themselves. Whether practicing these qualities or not practicing those qualities, that will build up your Islamic character. That will build up your character. That's who you are. You understand? So one of the most deadly characters of Islam that we are warned against is envy. Why is envy so deadly? Why is envy so deadly? Why are we warned against envy? Anyone? Why is envy such a deadly thing? Why is envy such an important subject matter? And why is it discussed in Islam? It's debated amongst the scholars. It has come to us. It's a huge subject matter as well. Why is it important? Yes, Bismillah.
Because it can kill, literally.
Right. So, in order to understand what Ukti Muniba said, we have to go back and we have to explain the subject matter in the context that it is. Now, with envy, there are two types of envy. One is not blameworthy, and the other one is blameworthy. There is no envy, but only in two. And there's no envy, meaning that if I'm a rich person and you guys look upon me because I'm doing a lot of good with all the money, the wealth, the billions that Allah gave me, and I'm feeding people, I'm building orphanages, I'm putting people through school, I'm seeing to houses, I'm looking after the widows, and you envy me not because of my wealth, but because you wish that you could be like me so that you could do that as well. That's one. The second one is envy for knowledge. People that's knowledgeable, that's out there changing people's lives, guiding people, and you envy that person for that specific thing, meaning that you wish that you could be like that person so that you could do the same thing, where you have the tools and you have the same abilities that that human being has. That, for me, myself, that's one of my ustads, that when he used to give a class or a session, then 1,000 people would become Muslim in that one sitting. And me, I envy that. Not envying him being, no, why has he got that? No. I envy him in the sense that I want to keep competition with him. I want to be better than him, or I want to at least be on the same scale than him. And having an envious nature, this is natural to every human being. We like nice cars, we like nice things, we like nice clothes, we like nice money, we like nice lifestyle, we like nice personalities. This is why you have a trend today where it's called like, dislike. That's the nature of human being. We have this within ourselves, so we're not free from it. But practicing the envy in the inappropriate manner, this is where we fall into grave, and I mean grave sin. First and foremost, envy, as the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, that it eats up good deeds like fire eats up wood. Understand? Now, when you go into the science of envy, there's a reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the warnings through the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for mankind. It's because of one thing. It destroys ourselves. So me being envious, how does it destroy myself? So let's get into the subject matter, how it destroys myself. Personal destruction, a suicide. This is why we are told not to be this way, not to have that, or not to do this, and steer clear away from that, because it destroys ourselves. Yet, we think when we are doing it, we're destroying other people, but it starts with yourself. Once you engage in envy, then science says the things that fires in your brain, things that's being highlighted in your brain and in your nervous system, these things fire up, and they say the repercussions to it, it's actually like you burning. It's a burning sensation, meaning pain. So usually when you're envious, people use these terminologies like, why are you burning? Why are you feeling, where are you feeling it, and why are you feeling it? That's the first thing that they say. Second thing that they say, why are you getting a pain? Because it's physically painful. It's physically painful. So you're harming yourself, number one, with it. Now, when that self-harm kicks in, normally what people do is they engage in the revenge, because the subconscious mind seeks revenge. Nobody hurt you. The person was living his life. You are just being him, or doing whatever he does best, without anything facing him. But because you saw it and you engaged with your envy, and you made sure that this fire became an inferno within you because of your envy over the human being, now you're going to engage in other things. Now, what you engage in is called, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when you engage in being envious, then you become the hasid. Become a person that's known as a hasid, someone that's practicing the envy, and not in a positive sense, in a negative sense. So what happens when you practice this envy? When you practice this envy, not only, as I said, physically and mentally and emotionally, you're damaging yourself because you don't know how to control your system, because you're engaging in this envy, and you're really getting into it, and the fire starts growing. Now, what do you do now is riba. First bad thing. If you can't destroy the person, or if you can't do anything to the person, and you engage in negative envy, then automatically you're going to start spreading rumors, because you have to get it off your chest. Now, riba is another way of self-destruct. This is something very deadly when it comes to character. And not only character, what you're doing to yourself when you are engaged in it. And people take this for granted. People take this as a jest. No, don't take this as a jest. Because riba leads to namima. And people do not understand what is this. People take it for a jest, just something commonly we're going to have a discussion. No. First and foremost, when you're discussing anything with any human being, especially about somebody that's not in the present, and that thing is in the negative, which means that person, if you had said this in front of them, they would not like it. There will be a bad, bitter taste in the mouth. And you do that in the person when the person's not present, then you are riba. Now you are infringing on the next person's rights. And this is something that people take for granted. Now this is a huge thing. Because the compensation for this, is quite huge, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns about it. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam warns about it. It is not something small. So I'll give an example of how we overlook this and how we take it for granted. Anybody knows an example that we might be using and we think, no, this is not riba. This is not something, I'm not gossiping about someone, that we usually say, and we think that's okay. Give me an example. Let's see if you can see the scale that I'm talking about. Anybody have an example of it? Something you're taking for granted, but it's quite huge. Let's see if you're mindful. No example. Okay, I'm gonna ask questions, right? Here's 2 examples. Tell me which example is worse than the other. Okay. The brother there, he's a bit weak. Brother there he's a bit weak, but he is going to come up soon. Or be careful of that brother there. His tongue is loose. Which one? From that 2 examples is riba. Is it riba? Is it not riba?
The second one.
Which one?
The second one.
Which one? His tongue is loose. Or he's weak.
Nah, his tongue is loose.
Tongue is loose.
His
Everybody,
tongue is loose.
tongue is loose. Or else? Anyone got another fatwa?
The second one, his tongue is loose.
This is riba, on the same scale that we're talking about right now. This is riba. And many of the times we think that this is something that we can overlook. No, it's not supposed to be overlooked, because now you're demoralizing the character of the human being. And there's repercussions to it. But there is no riba, especially for an example, when you are speaking about an evil leader. You understand? There is no riba then, because now you are, obviously he does evil things, you're exposing him, but you're exposing him to help or safeguard other people against him. Then is no riba, because now you're bringing an awareness. You understand? So that's the time when it's not, because how are you going to discuss something evil that's in society and how to get rid of it if you can't discuss it? You have to be able to discuss it, but that means putting plans in place in order to be able to make the situation even better. And who can tell me what is the repercussions on riba though? Anybody knows the repercussions for riba? Let's see if you're aware. What is the repercussions for riba? Anybody?
You
What
eat your brother's flesh?
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, that's fine, subhanallah.
Yes, that's fine. Anybody knows the repercussions for riba? Anyone? No one. Anybody trying? Like a try? Yes, Akhi?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but there was something about Yawm Qiyam, how you will be changed, your appearance would be changed in a certain manner on the day of recompense.
Anyone else?
On the day of, I don't know if it's true or what, but on the day of judgment, the person we spoke about, we're gonna give our good deeds to them, or we're gonna take some of their bad deeds. So, yeah.
There we go. There we go. Coined it. That's the truth. That is the haq. Right. So, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam warns against this, and he says that be careful of it, because on that day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, there's no dinar and dirham to compensate for what you are doing. Understand this, know this, understand this very, very well. I can't get to one of the scholars' name, but I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. When the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam warns there is no dinar and dirham in order to compensate, do you understand the implications of that? Because he went further on and he explained. He said, first and foremost, that when you cannot repay him for the damage you did to him on the dunya, there's nothing you can repay. There's only two ways to repay him. One, it is with your good deeds. So he's going to take from you. And we're all greedy that day. Allah protect us from that day there. Every human being is a very greedy human being at that day there. He's like a monster, like an animal. He will send his own mother, his own children to the Jahannam just to get out of it, so you can understand the graveness of this day. All right? So, number one is going to take your good deeds. If you do not have enough good deeds to give, guess what? Stage 2 kicks in. And that stage 2 is a bad stage. For that stage 2, when it kicks in, that means he's going to pile up from his bad deeds onto you, where you cannot erase this. You cannot get rid of this on that day at all. There's no way of making a dhikr or adkar. There's nothing there. What's going to happen there is going to happen. This is why I said, rather eat the flesh of your dead brother, rotting brother. That's fine. And yet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you would not like that. But this year, when it happens and it takes place and it takes its course, we are not free from it and we cannot stop it. So how do we compensate? Does anybody know how to compensate if you have done something? Anybody knows how to compensate it? How to reverse it while you're on the dunya, before it gets to that stage? Anyone? How do you reverse this? This is why we spoke about the character. This is why we're speaking about how deadly it is, not against others when we practice this, but against ourselves. This is why I'm saying it's self-destruction. Anything the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is warning against, it's our own self-destruction. As you can see, it seems that we're doing it to others, but there's a repercussion against ourselves. We have to be very clear on this. You understand? Very clear. So how do you compensate this? What's the compensation for this? Anyone?
Asking a person you have wronged for forgiveness?
Yes, that's what you have to do, especially when it comes to the ears. When it comes to the ears, automatically you have to go ask for forgiveness. And as the old saying goes, what goes around comes around. Word spread. What they say? Word spread. How many times did you hear about somebody fitnaing about you in detail, and it came back to your ears without going to look? How many times have you experienced this? Hand up. Just put your hand there. There's a little icon there if you know how to use it. Hands up. If you experience this, there we go. Always comes back to your ears. This is something that you cannot miss. If somebody was talking about you, you would hear it coming back to your ears. And that person should come and ask you. Remember, this is a dunya issue. Dunya issue means the rights of people must be given to the people. When it's a dunya issue, not akhirah, between you and Allah. This is to do with an individual, and he has rights. And his rights need to be fulfilled. So, what is the compensation? How do you compensate for it? Number one is go and ask for forgiveness personally to the being. Whether he forgives you or not, you have done your duty. That's fine. But again, it must be sincere intent. your intention, as we spoke about, the first thing in the first place, till right now, we're going to mention it again. Your intention is of utmost importance, because you can't go ask for half a month, come to the human being and say, you know what, I said a couple of things bad about you, but you know how it goes. Fine. No, no. It has to be sincere, and you have to seek it from the human being in its accordance. You understand? Because it's recorded. Whatever you do is recorded, every single thing. Again, the most deadliest thing that we're ever going to face is that day when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you're going to find a book that's going to amaze you. Within it, you're going to say yourself, I never knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recorded that. I never knew that was going to be recorded. So be careful. Be very careful, because as Imam Shafi rahimahullah, he said, this is something we should really, really not forget. Be very scared of. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He never forgets. You understand? Allah never forgets. We're quick to forget many things that is important, but Allah never forgets anything. So in order for you to overcome this, what happens when you can't find the human being to ask him now? What do you do now? What's the second leg? When you cannot find the human being in order to ask for mouth, what do you do now? This is the situation.
Mustn't you ask Allah now? Because you can't find the human.
What you have to do is just seek for forgiveness. Yes, but seek for forgiveness for the person you slandered. That's first. Secondly, speak good about the person as you had a rotten tongue in the first place. You understand? As it was said, when you do a bad deed, cover it up with a good deed. Immediately, don't hang, don't do anything, don't think, okay, I'm fine for now, I'm just going to operate on this level here. When you do a bad thing, cover it up immediately with something good. So if you slander the person, speak about the person again, not even in his presence, speak about good. So as your slander spread to I don't know how many people, that good will also inshallah spread to many people as well. And ask for the human being's forgiveness that you have demoralized. Here's an interesting question though. Can we speak and slander non-Muslims? Can we fitna about non-Muslims? Question, interesting question.
Can
Anyone?
as in ability, because then
Yeah,
yes.
no, not inability. I'm talking about free for all.
Yes. So if we can do it to one human, we can do it to any human.
No. I'm talking about the clause. Are we allowed to be able to
No.
speak
I
about
say
it?
I would say no.
Why? They're not Muslim.
They're human.
they're Allah's creation.
They are Allah's creation in whatever form they are human. So
Human.
we must not ever look at people as in a religion. We must look at them as human. And we all supposed to be on who are we to judge who they are and what they are.
No. Because who are we to judge? We judge by the Quran and the Sunnah, and we judge on your action. So that's not delete. That's not plausible. Because even with the laws of any country, we judge on your actions and we judge with the evidence that's there. Because that's how you go to jail. If you caught with a gun in your hand, standing outside the bank, two people saw you shooting, we have to judge you and we have to again execute whatever we have to execute. So there's always judgment. I'm not talking about judgment. I am talking about do we have a free clause to go and smear the non-Muslims' names that we want? Is there a clause?
I would still say no, we don't have that.
Me too. If I'm really Muslim, then I won't, whether or not the human is Muslim or not.
So I was playing the devil's advocate over there and you stood your ground, no problem. Here's the thing. As a Muslim, again, going back to the same clause, you are not supposed to do it. You understand? Allah didn't say to your Muslim brother, no, you are not supposed to do it. You are not supposed to do it at all, except in cases where it is deemed so. Meaning that if the non-Muslim is boycotting a Muslim, or if the non-Muslim is fighting the Muslim, then we have to speak against it. Then we have to speak up about it. Then we have to destroy his character because he has an ill character. We have to expose him because now he's doing something that he's not supposed to do. You understand? As in a defense, not to defend, meaning that when somebody is making dhulm about you, you must spread rumors as well. Be careful, because sometimes it can backfire on you. Sometimes this person speaks to people that's not engaged, spreading rumors about you. They don't engage much. And you might speak to one human being, and this human being knows how to spread news like wildfire. You might be doing more damage to the other human being than what he has done to you, and you are only allowed to take back what you've been taken from. You understand? Even on the day of Qiyamah. It depends on how vicious this rumor spread and how it demoralized your character. That's the compensation that you get on the day of Qiyamah. So if this news went worldwide, because today people haven't got the guts to be in your face, let's go to the field, we sort this thing out, pick in the force, I got a grievance with you, just got holding a stand there, and then you dust yourself off, right? I got that off my chest, and shake hands and carry on with life. No, people don't do that. They hide behind phones, and they hide behind memes, and they hide behind all of these things, and they fight this way. Now, you understand? They call it social bullying. So they get a group of friends together, and they'll all gang up on you. You understand? Because that's how cowardice people are today. We're living in a very cowardice world. If people don't come to your face and tell you how they feel, they express it through everyone else so that you can hear it very loud and clear. You understand? Because apparently they don't have a tongue. The tongue is so loose, but they don't have a tongue. So they spread it so wildly. I call it the evil tongue. And then it reaches everybody except you, the one that you're supposed to be told about this effort. You understand? So when we're speaking about this, one of the scholars, I can't get to his name, right? I'm not going to quote because I'm not too sure about the name, but I do know one of the scholars. He heard about somebody speaking ill about him, spreading vicious rumors. And namima, not the riba, namima, meaning stirring up trouble. And this is something we have to take in account because this is something very deadly. I watched on YouTube people doing the rituals of the dead, the rites of the dead. And the sheikh that was doing this broadcast, he spoke about, and again in Islam, whenever you see or witness anything when you're dealing with the dead, you're shrouding them or you're washing them or whatever the case is, you cannot speak about what you see there. You are not supposed to speak about it. Only, again, in certain cases, meaning that if this is a highlight that you should warn people about, then this case must come out and you have to warn people about it. So one of the cases they dealt with was very severe, where they mentioned that this woman that died, she came back to life, meaning she grabbed the kafan, she grabbed the cloth, she grabbed it tightly, but she was dead. To such an extent twice that they called the doctor in to come back because the doctor misdiagnosed this female. She was a female. And they came in and the doctor said, listen, now they're in Saudi, you can't do this because this is a big matter. This is a very huge matter because now nothing is flowing now. You're breaking the chain. And it's very serious for a doctor to come down, to come re-diagnose the situation so that you can not bury it's not a small accusation, it's a huge accusation, right? Because you might be burying somebody alive that's not dead. So again, it happened twice, and she grabbed it, but she's dead. And they called the sheikh. The sheikh called the doctor. The doctor said, no, I confirmed. I checked everything. I checked the vitals. I checked everything. She's dead. Then it went on, and then the one that was doing the funeral rites, she asked the daughter, what's going on here? So the daughter said, this is not none of your business. Just bath my mother, get her so that we can put her in the ground. That's your job. You're supposed to do this. He says, listen, if you do not tell me what this is, because this is the strangest thing I haven't seen in my life. This is very scary. If you do not confirm to me or tell me what your mother did in a lifetime for me to witness this, I'm not bearing her. So she came to her senses and said, okay, listen, if you get her to, get her into the ground, I will tell you exactly what aspired, what she did in her life. So now it constituted breaking bones, because once you get the rigor mortis, once you go into the stiffness, you have to break bones. And that's not something very, very, very good to see or experience or do yourself. So they pour hot water so that they can get the limbs loose, and sometimes they have to break bones in order to keep you straight. When they put her in the hole, afterwards, the daughter came back and said, and this is again, this is why he told us the story, because now I can convey it to you as well. Her mom used to fast, again, fasting, all the salahs, all the adhkars, love the Quran, but one thing her mom was fond of. To such an extent, her mom used to come home and say to her, you know what? You know those two people? I just made trouble between the two of them right now. They're fighting right now. And she used to get a kick out of it. To such an extent that people didn't want to invite her to functions because they knew about them. She'll sit over there and then she'll sit over there, and this would happen. This is the extent that this happens. Now, many people do not speak about the shrouding of the dead, but these are the things that is a reality to us. These are the things you'll see on the dunya as well as in the akhirah. So don't take these things lightly. That's why I said this is very grave on your own soul. Got nothing to do with others, because you can only do so much. When it comes to yourself, you are self-destructing. As I said, number one, when you engage in it, when you are ringing it up, when you're riding that little donkey, and that fire and that furnace was in yourself, and you do not control your evil tongue, that's the repercussions of it, dunya and akhirah. So let's be mindful of this, as the envy, as I said, is not in two. Because you don't find people keeping competition of the akhirah. You find people keeping competition in the dunya. This is why YouTube is blowing up. This is why Instagram is blowing up. This is why Facebook is blowing up. Nobody lives life like that. That's life. Nobody lives happily lives. You're not going to put a picture of him crying or losing something. Or this broke, his life is in the desert. You don't find that. It's all smiles and giggles, and I'm on the top of a mountain or that country. No, nobody lives life like that. That's a dream life that he wants himself to live. You understand? So don't look upon that, as the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave us advice. Do not look at them above you. Look at them below you, so that, again, coming back to the same thing, being grateful. Like, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Again, I'm repeating it. This is where it comes in. Because when you're not satisfied with what you have, you look upon others, and then now you envy. And that envy goes into another stage where you wish that that human being never had that thing. And that is one of the pillars of Iman. You're not believing in. You see what happens when you don't believe accordingly? You see what happens when these belief system and understanding is not in their place? Then we come here to the character, and this is why we discuss the character. This is why the Muslim character is so important. Because what are you envying? What are you looking upon? How are you engaging with yourself? What level of operation are you on? What is your character? I'm not here to judge your character. You're supposed to judge your character. As Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu used to say, take stock of yourself before the day that stock is taken of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that understanding. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it clear in our mind. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us on the Siratul Mustaqim and never make us move. For this is grave things that we take for granted. These are mundane things as we see in our eyes, but the repercussions are extremely heavy. And we take this for granted. and we live our lives thinking that we are safe. We are not safe because we adhere to what has been sent to mankind. Either hasidin, either hasad. Protect me from them that is hasad. Now, that's there to show you, first and foremost, when you read that, no, she's hasad on me. No, that one's hasad on me. No, you are hasad as well. So protect the people from your hasad. This is how it's supposed to work. Am I hasad? Not that. Oh, that one's hasad on me and that. No. You're going to have fans, it's fine. But what are you doing? Because again, anna nara haq. Understand? That is the truth. You understand? And where we go alone. There's no friends there. Make sure that you have enough for yourself on your journey. This is why the character and the pillars must be in its place. It's nice to speak about these things, but in order for you to engage and make sure that this is part of your life, it's very important. Because none of us wants a horror story like that. I have a lot of horror stories of people that I've buried. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive them and put ease in the cupboard. But I'm not going to speak about it. But that's an eye-opener for me. These things are real. These things are not Mickey Mouse stories. No, this is real. A lot of people don't speak about it because they're too afraid. Because when you speak about it, you bring the reality within yourself first. It becomes very real to me. Am I doing it? Yeah. Remind yourself. Remind yourself. The more you remind yourself, inshallah, you will steer clear from that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. As I said, keep us on the full sirat al-mustaqim and never make us move. Again, very important subject matter. Always check within yourself. Is this my evil tongue that I'm using? And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it this way. That if I myself or any one of you are practicing the evil tongue, may my voice echo in your head and haunt you and haunt me first. Ameen. You understand? Very simple. Engage and watch yourself. Because it's very easy to get sidetracked and very easy to get pulled off from the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Especially when we listen what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made. Very grave on our own soul. When we listen it, we paint it with a little white brush, and say it's okay. No, it's not okay. And we recognize and always be mindful of, and not fall prey to the evil that was in ourselves. That's where we have to start with. Again, intent. What is your intention for doing this? Check your intention. As I said, ihsan. Again, we're coming back to the same thing. This is where it's supposed to be practiced as well. You understand? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. Any questions before we leave, inshallah?
I only wanted clarification on the definitions. So riba is when I speak a thing about someone when they're not there and it's displeasing to them.
Yeah.
And namima is when it's not true, but I'm telling the story.
No. Amima is when you are causing disruption or your intent is to destroy. That is malicious. You understand? When you're going into the third phase, that's actually the third phase, maliciously, fitnating about the person. Now you're malicious about it. Making sure that this little story that you're relaying is not just going to go here, it needs to spread and create havoc. Like a shayateen, meaning to destroy, wanting to destroy, making enmity and enemies amongst people. You understand?
May Allah protect us from that. Shukran for clarifying. Then, just one request then. Pen me a bullseye for this week.
Okay. Inshallah. No problem. Again, navigate with yourself, watch yourself. Again, whatever you say cannot be retracted. Cannot be retracted. As I said, there was a story of one of the scholars. When he had this person doing this, he gathered gifts. He got himself a massive bouquet. And he went to the person and he gave the person this bouquet. The person looked at him and thinking, why? You give me this bouquet. He says, I am sorry for giving you such a, small gift, but I tried my best to gather as much as I could. I am trying to give you the same gift that you gave me because you took from me what I could not carry for myself. You understand? You took from me. I cannot give you the gift that you gave me. You took from me that I cannot, I cannot have the same amount, meaning the good you brought to me by doing this to me is immense. I cannot reward you for it because I need it. Understand? That doesn't mean that you should go around and causing it. No. If you're not blameworthy from the things that they say and what they're doing, no problem. Your engagement must not be revenge and doing the same in return. Be careful, as I said. It's a very slippery slope. That's what it is. Barakallahu fi. Yes, Akhi?
Akhi, I want to know the non-believer on
Yes.
the day of judgment. If he has wronged the believer, now say he's a disbeliever. He doesn't believe.
Don't matter. There's compensation. There's always compensation. As it is,
Okay.
I think it's Sahih Muslim, as I say, as the believers cross over the Sirat al-Mustaqim, going into the Jannah, in between the Jannah and the Jahannam on the bridge, there matters will be dealt with. No problem. If you wrong you get your revenge there. Whatever it is, however it's supposed to be, you're going to get compensated for it. Nothing escapes Allah. Understand this, know this. Nothing escapes Allah. So I give you another example. If there's a kuffar killing a whole lot of Muslims, he's going to be dealt with. There's no escape. If he is killing even kuffar, he's going to still be dealt. There is no escaping anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not unjust. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. If there was a bull that knocked a cow with the horn for nothing, for absolutely nothing, no reason, no purpose at all. On the day of Ila Yawm al-Qiyamah, there's no judgment for animals at all. On the day of Ila Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring both of them. The cow will get the horns and the cow will take the revenge on the bull until the cow is satisfied. Deadly thing, my brother. Deadly thing. That one thing we do against them, they can take a lot of revenge that side. Because there's no dinar and dirham in order to compensate on that day there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us safe. Barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وفيك بارك الله
وعليكم
وعليكم
السلام
السلام
ورحمة الله
ورحمة الله
وبركاته.
وبركاته.
Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.